Hey guys, it's Sasha. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in August. So August was the magical readathon. It was the NEWTS edition. I thought I would try my hand at doing the exams to become a librarian. So to become a librarian, I had to read 7 books in total and try to complete the different exams and whatever. If you should know all about it. If you don't, I'll link down G's video down below so that you can understand what I'm trying to say. So in the month of August, I read 11 books. Not all of them were for the readathon, but I will talk about them a little bit later. I read 5 audiobooks and 5 physical books and 1 ebook. And for ratings, I read 1 2-star read, 3 3-star reads, 5 4-star reads, and 2 5-star reads. So it averaged out to be a pretty average month, but I'm really happy with the amount of books I got read this month. So to start off, I listened to The Vampire Diaries The Struggle by L.J. Smith. I read this for the A in Defense Against the Dark Arts, which was Read a Book with Black Under the Dust Jacket. But I don't own any hardcover books that I haven't already read that had black under the dust jacket. So I picked up this predominantly black book. Now this is the sequel in the Vampire Diaries series, so I can't really tell you much about this book, but basically if you know about the Vampire Diaries, it's about Elena trying to figure out if she would prefer to go with Damon or Stefan. I really did enjoy this book. I did give it 3 out of 5 stars. I think the narrator on the audiobook, I wasn't the biggest fan of their way of saying things, and then they really tried to do these weird accents for the Salvatore brothers, and I was not a fan. But I still enjoyed this book, and I really hope to continue on with this series. The next book I read was Unravel Me by Tahara Murphy. This was for Ancient Runes, read a book recommended by a friend. And this is my buddy read book with Abby Lisi the book lover. It was actually July's buddy read book, but I never got around to reading it in July, so I read it in August. But I really enjoyed this book. This is the sequel to Shatter Me, and I'm loving Warner and Juliet. I'm not the biggest fan of Adam, but hopefully when I get to the next book in this series, everything will sort themselves out, because it does seem a bit messy right now. I did give this book 4 out of 5 stars. Like, if you watched my vlog, you would have known that I had the hots for Warner, and he was just like super sexy, but I wanted to kill Adam every time that he spoke. He was just so annoying, and Juliet even was a bit annoying too. But I did read Fracture Me, which was the novella from Adam's perspective of the last couple chapters of this book, and I liked seeing people's views of Juliet that's not Juliet, because when you're reading this from Juliet's perspective, just know what's going on in her head, obviously. But in Fracture Me, Adam was saying things that Juliet was doing, and she kept doing it over and over and over again, and I don't think Juliet realizes. And I'm like, wow, that's excuse you. But like I said, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm excited to continue on with this series. The next book I listened to was The Polar Bears Explorers Club by Alex Bell. I listened to this for the Defense Against the Dark Arts E, which was Gilderoy's Memory Charm. So I had to pick up a book that I immediately thought of from my TBR. And I really enjoyed this. This is a middle grade about this girl called Stella. Her adoptive father is a really renowned explorer, and she wants to be exactly like him, except girls aren't really explorers. It's just not right for a girl to be an explorer. But one day when Felix, her adoptive father, is going to get ready for a big exploration, it's Stella's birthday, and she doesn't want to go to this boarding school that her aunt wants her to go to, so Felix takes her with him, and she goes on this crazy adventure, and I loved it so much. The different magical beings in this was just, I just love this book, and I'm really excited to pick up the second book in the series. So I did give this 5 out of 5 stars, and I'm so happy that I read it. The next book I read for Ancient Runes, which was read a book written in past tense, I read Dead Until Dark by Charlene Harris. This is the first book in the Sookie Stackhouse series. I really enjoyed this book. Like, I watched the TV show first and I think it's a really good adaptation, and I'm excited to go on with this series. I did give Dead Until Dark 4 out of 5 stars because it was written a while ago. Some of the things is just not proper this time around. I had a really good reading experience reading this book, and it's just, yeah, it's just really good, guys. The next book I read was The Lying Down Room by Anna Jakiri. I did not like this book at all. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. It felt really like all over the place. So it focuses on this one detective who lives in France. This old lady gets killed, right? And only a couple days early did she come in complaining about these 2 people that was giving out religious pamphlets. So he rounds up the rest of the old ladies who also complained. He's thinking that the killer is one of the guys who was giving out these pamphlets. But then you also start to read from the perspective of the guy giving the pamphlet, and who is just, I don't know what this book's purpose was. It had no point to it, and I really didn't like it. It took me forever to read it, and I'm so glad I got it over with. Like, I already have no idea where it is. I'm pretty sure I gave it to my son to like wreck, because I don't want to read it. And I don't think anyone else should want to read it. The next book I read was for Defense Against the Dark Arts, and it's read a book set in England, or written by an English author. So this is kind of cheating, but I just really wanted to listen to this book again, and I thought, why not just do it for that? But I don't care, because I don't need it for being a librarian anyway. Anyway, I'm going off tangent. I read Red, White and Royal Blue again by Casey McKiston. I just love this book so much, because, like, you can tell I love this book because I've read this twice now in the space of 3 months. I read it back in June and I read it in August. I've never done that before. I just love this story, and of course I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. If I could give it more, I would. I just love Alex, and I love Henry, and I love Nora, and I love June. I love Bea and Pez and Ellen. Oh my god, Ellen is, I love Ellen so much. Stop. So this is a male hate to love romance, and I love it with all of my heart. Focuses on first son Alex, who is the son of the first female president of the United States, and also Henry, who is the Prince of England. And Alex has hated Henry for as long as he could remember, and while Alex and the whole United States family is going to Prince Henry's older brother's wedding, Alex and Henry get into a disagreement and they ruin the $70,000 wedding cake. So to make it that the whole world doesn't think that London and America are killing each other, they've tried to say that it was a bit of a disagreement because they're the best of friends and they have to do like a fake friendship. So it's kind of like, it's not fake dating, but it's like fake friendship turned into real dating. I love it so much. I love these two. And reading it for a second time, it really cemented the fact I love these two so much. I then listened to Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. This was for History of Magic, Read a Fantasy. And I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It just wasn't speaking to me. It had so much hype. I thought the main character, Nadia, was going to be this really big badass, because it literally says on the cover of the book, let them fear her. But she doesn't even do anything. She's not scary. The powers that she has are all from her gods. And like at the end, there's a bit of character development, but we won't talk about that because spoilers. I just want to give like a huge trigger warning, if you want to read this book, that there is blood magic, which heavily focuses on you having to cut yourself open and using blood to get the magic to work. And they talk about just different things that kind of made me uncomfortable. It wasn't a trigger warning for me because I've never self-harmed, but I know that it could be triggers for some people because it just really wasn't. I really ickied about it, and I don't really get icky about books, but I really want anyone to read this book if they are worried about that. I just want to let you know, because I had no idea going into it. And yeah, the last book I read for the NEWTS for History of Magic was Read a Book with a Map in it, and I read the first book in Del Toro Quest 3, which was called Dragon's Nest. It's the first book in the third series where they're trying to find these 4 sisters who are ruining the lands of Del Toro, because even though the Shadow Lord has been defeated, he still has his little minions out in the land of Del Toro. So Leaf and his friends Jasmine and Barda try to find these sisters, and on the way they start waking up these dragons who are helping them kill these sisters. And I loved, the first book was so good. It was a nostalgia thing for me because I have read this back when I was like 8 or 9. I kind of remembered things, but then some things I didn't remember. But I really did love this book. I'm pretty sure I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I really cannot wait to read the rest of the series. So those were all the books that I read for the NEWTS Magical Readathon. And then on the last day of August was a 24-hour smartathon that I participated in. I read Only for a Night, which was their group book, and I loved it so much. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was so smutty. It was so sexy. If you just want a nice little fluff piece that will get your heart racing, I definitely suggest Only for a Night. So focuses on Harper and Ryan, and they used to be besties back in high school, but Ryan was part of an Irish mob because his dad's like the big boss of it. It just wasn't meant to be. Ryan's like, nah, like, you don't want this life. So she went off and married this guy, and they kept thinking about each other but never saw each other. So fast forward to now, Harper's husband is dead, and she actually lost a baby in pregnancy, so she miscarried, and she's just got all this baggage, and that she just wants to basically fuck her worries away. Enter Ryan, who is now an ex-member of the Irish mob and now owns a sex club called Lick. My camera just cut out on me, so I don't know what just happened. So Harper goes to Ryan's sex club, and Harper's like, I just need a good fucking, basically. And Ryan's like, this is only going to be for a night because I'm not a family man. I'm not the guy that you want, blah, blah, blah. So that all happens, and then she realizes, like, she does want him longer, and he realizes he wants her for longer. He decided that she didn't want him. And I'm here like, oh my god. And then even, I really like this because Harper was like, you don't get to decide what I want and who I want. And she's like, stop making decisions for me. I'm sick of everyone making my decisions. And I'm like, yes, we love good or strong women who love to own their sexuality. And I love this book so much. I'm actually, maybe I want to bump it up to 5 stars. Because I really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad that I read it. And the last book I read for the Smartathon, I actually listened to, and it's called Once Ghosted, Twice Shy by Alyssa Cole. This is a novella in her, I don't know what the series is, so I wasn't exactly sure who some of the other characters were talking about, but you can read this as a standalone because it does talk about now and talk about back then. So this book focuses on Lakotia, I think is how you pronounce her name, and she is like a personal assistant for a prince. And if you have read the other books in the series, you know who I'm talking about. One day on Lakotia's like first day off in forever, she's in New York on the subway, and she runs into an ex-lover who is like the one that got away. The ex-lover, Fabiola, is like really excited to see her and like wants to catch up, but Lakotia was like, you ghosted me. What's going on? Why do you want to hang out with me again? So that the present time is in Lakoitzia's point of view, and then 7 months earlier is in Fabiola's point of view when they first go on a date. And I just love this book a lot, and I'm really thinking about picking up the other books in the series. Lakoitzia and Fabiola is probably my favourite sapphic couple now. I'm trying to think what other sapphic couples are out there that I like, but nothing is coming to mind right now. Oh yeah, you have Evelyn and Cecilia, but like that was really toxic too, so we won't go into that. So these are all the books that I read in August for the NEWTS Magical Readathon. I had such a good time competing. I always say competing, but I had such a good time participating in this readathon, and I hope you all had a really awesome month. I'm glad I can finally say that I am now a qualified librarian, and yeah. What did you read in August? Did you participate in the Magical Readathon as well? Let me know down below. Link your videos. I'd love to watch all of your videos. But if you want to be my friend, you can add me on Goodreads, Instagram, and Twitter. They're all at sashreads, and I will see you next time. Bye!